Absolutely. So let me get this started here. We have a great presentation to present to you today about Stars and Stripes and how we did in 2020. When I was here a year ago, you know, we were very optimistic, we were very excited, and then a couple months later, COVID hit, threw a big wrench in the way we did a lot of things. But I'm very, very happy to report, and I've kind of reported along, that we've had a great year. Given COVID, we had to obviously change the way we did a lot of things, but you'll see when Pat presents the financial results, that in the end, it didn't hurt us at all. We were able to get it, the financial results that we were hoping for, we met those results and actually exceeded them slightly. So just briefly, our agenda today is we're going to go over the financial results and our projections for 2021. We just want to kind of remind everyone who actually benefits from our program, who are some of the beneficiaries that we share our fundraising with. As you know, partnership teams are critical to the success of this program. They deliver 13 of our 20 routes. So we're just going to inform you who they are. Almost every one of them have signed up again for 2021. So we're on a great, we're starting off the year perfectly. Then Bob Keller is going to just kind of let everyone know what is really involved in this program, what all it takes to get this program done, from the time we received an order for a subscription to the time we put a flag in the ground. And then we just want to talk briefly about membership involvement and how you can get involved. So I'm going to turn this over to Pat here and have him, present.
Yeah, it works a lot better if I turn the microphone on.
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and advance the slide for you. There you go. Pat, you're muted.
Sorry about that.
There you go.
I muted myself without even knowing it. Anyway, I managed to convert what in past years was several slides full of numbers into this one graph. So this is the only thing you're going to have to look at this year. The blue bars are the funds that we've been able to contribute to the club over the 6 years of the program. The orange line is the funds that we've paid to our community partners. And finally, the red line is the count of flags we've installed. So as you can see, we've had pretty solid growth every year since we started. The first year was basically a break even. As we got the ball rolling, but had to buy a lot of flags. I think we had about 300 in place that year, but since then it's grown pretty steadily, and we've been able to make contributions to the clubs pretty consistently. To date, we've contributed $90,000 to the club. That includes $22,000 that we're planning to contribute in 2021 for our 2020 year. And by the way, for Greg and Mary, who are a little less familiar with the program, we operate this on a calendar year basis, which is when the subscriptions run, rather than having half the year's subscriptions in the Rotary, one Rotary year and the other half in the other. It just helps with our sanity. In that same period, we've paid our partner teams about $16,500. So again, over $100,000 for the benefit of the community one way or another. The last set of columns there is our 2021 budget. We're shooting for 800 flags in the ground by the end of the year. That will generate about $32,000 in revenue. We'll spend about $9,000 of that of which over half is payments to our partners, and hopefully be able to contribute about 20, I'm sorry, my notes are wrong, 23,000 to the club next year. Etta, you want to move on to the next one? We'll talk a little bit about what we've done with the money.
Absolutely.
Oh, one too many. There we go. Jack can give us more detail on the exact amounts and the people, but these are some of the routine items that we've supported with funds from the Stars and Stripes program, scholarships, the 8th grade class trip when it starts again, Little League, shall we say, some members' kids play in. Those of us who still have kids, space camp, all the things that you see listed here, and a couple of things that aren't listed. The water project okay, Jonathan, you'll have to show pictures later. The water project that we participate with Westchester down in Acapulco, and the internship with McCullough Hyde that we haven't spent any money for yet, but will starting this year. So on the partnership side, here are the community organizations that put together those 13 teams that Etta mentioned. Some are one team. Boy Scouts is the largest with actually 4 teams, and together in 2020, these teams put out about 2/3 of the total flags over the course of each holidays. And as I said, we will pay them, or have paid them, about $5,300 over the course of the year. So that's it on the financials. Unless there are any questions, Bob's up next.
Yeah, so now we're going to have Bob talk about the program and just what's all involved to get the flags installed.
Okay, thanks, Etta. Thanks, Pat. Good job. Yeah, the big picture, sort of what's behind the scenes. I know most of the members are familiar with that, but we've had a lot of new members since we started the program. This will be our seventh year already doing this. And we tend to focus on the installation and retrieval, but there's obviously a lot more to it than that. So right now we're preparing to send out reminders to all of our subscribers. 760 plus or minus reminders are going to go out the first week in March. We'll do a combination of a bulk email transmission of reminders, as well as hard copies to our subscribers that are not on email. That's a lot of emails, but they go out in groups. Once those go out, the entries start coming in. I mean, that first day or that first morning emails go out, we'll start getting our inbox will start filling up with reminders, and that's great. That keeps us busy. Last year, we entered over 300, somewhere around 350 subscriptions in just the month of March. Depending on the results of that, we send the second bulk email out in mid-March. And then even after that, seeing how many responses come in, we do a phone reminder. We've got some procrastinators in April and into early May that happens. I understand it with a lot of members, but believe it or not, we have some of our own membership that we have to phone call to remind them to get their renewals in. So try to take care of that. And then early in the spring too, before the rest of things get going, the sleeve team, which is primarily Lisa Dankovich right now, thanks Lisa, they have to go out and make repairs to any of the sleeves that got damaged, comments that retrieval teams made at the end of last year. I won't go into too much detail once the subscriptions start coming in, but Max Wolf has joined our data entry team recently, and Max is going through some training right now. Start getting those submitted into our Access database. Any new subscriptions that come in, we have to send emails to the sleeve coordinator so that we can request new sleeves to be installed, and that takes some work. The sleeve coordinator goes out to the new locations, the new addresses, meets with the owner to confirm where they want the sleeve to go into the ground, where the flag will be presented. Once they've agreed on that, the sleeve goes in place. the installers have to document where that sleeve is so we can find it later in the year, and especially when that grass gets tall. Sometimes we have a real hard time finding those sleeves, but we do. So they send out the longitude, latitude, pictures and notes. That comes back to us and we enter that into the database. So that goes into things that Pat then can put into the 3-ring binders that go out with all the teams. 2 or 3 weeks prior, the route coordinator and then Pat will put these binders together to get those ready for all the teams for the first holiday, which is Memorial Day. Team schedule coordinators, as you know, they start reaching out to their various teams, make sure we're coordinated. Routes change every year. You know, we get new subscribers come in, we lose some subscribers. We can't let any routes get too big, so those all have to change. We have to get those ready for each of the 5 holidays. Of course, the warehouse is where all the handoffs occur and the retrievals come back. So there's coordination that goes on with that and getting the flags ready for each team, the right number of flags that goes out for each team and so forth. Those happen. Prep the routes for the first couples to go through and do these. With COVID, we've had to change how we do that, who the teams are, so that we can avoid people interacting with each other, because we usually have a pickup truck or a van. The 2 are going out and doing those installations, but I think it's worked out real well this year. And we've had some volunteers help us from within the households. Then finally, the installation day. All those things happen in our first installation day. Memorial Day weekend that starts. The warehouse gets real busy. You have to schedule when the various teams come in so we can have a good, efficient flow of people coming in, getting their teams, going out with their flags. Someone's got to be available if there are any problems, if someone can't find the sleeve, whatever it might be. You'd be surprised at some of the things that can come up. But all of you would know that can be kind of unpredictable sometimes. Retrieval, same thing. We have to schedule when those are coming back in. The loading and the unloading takes time, and getting them back into the right bins, making sure the flags aren't damaged or anything. And then it's we go around the next version of it again for the next holiday. So from Memorial Day to Veterans Day, we've got those 5 installations, and that's it. That's my quick overview. Back to you, Etta. Unless there's any questions.
So, so far we've told you, our success story, and then we've told you kind of what's all involved to get this program going. And now I'm going to ask Dan to just kind of talk a little bit about membership involvement, so you can understand what how many members have been involved in the program and kind of where that stands.
And first of all, every opportunity, when I see the work that you do, I want to thank you and your team. It's made a huge difference to the community and to the club. I met a gentleman last week, the week before, I can't remember his name, but there's nothing new about that. He used to be a Rotarian here. And in fact, I asked him if he was interested in joining again. We're working on that. But the point is, he said, I was a member before the flag program, and we didn't, we weren't able to do much. And the flag program came along, and now we're able to support the community in so many more ways than we ever were able to do before the flag program. The flag program, we get a lot from the flag program, but it is a lot of work also. So we need everyone's participation on some basis. We've got 55 members in the club. About 32 members participate in some manner. We have 23 members who did not participate. And we've got about 10 members who have health reasons that they can't participate. And we've had membership, some members have involved, volunteered every holiday, or maybe 4 of the 5. And we have 75% of the members have a flag subscription. So what I'd like to say and ask each of you is, first of all, number 1, if you don't have a flag subscription, please get one. There's a lot of reasons you should do that. You're a member of Rotary, you're a member of the community. It's a good program. Every time I go down to the city and talk to the city manager or anybody down there, the Rotary flag program comes out. We're making an impact, and it's significant. Number 2, we need everybody to participate to the extent that they can. That doesn't mean you have to go out, put flags in the ground if that's not something you're able to do. But there are lots of different jobs. We're going to contact folks to try to increase our involvement. This includes our new members, because Greg's point on involvement, I think, is right spot on. That when I joined Rotary, Pat Sidley called me up one day and said, "Will you be Sergeant at Arms?" And that means I had to stand by the door and check off everyone's names as they came through the door. And I told Pat, I said, well, this is going to be kind of force feeding me to learn everyone's name. And he said, yes. And boy, was he right. In about 3 weeks, I got comfortable with the job. And the point too is, you know, I probably remember your name when I see you in Kroger, and that probably wouldn't have been the case if I had started that way. But we all need to be involved. Rotary is an important organization to the community, and we're going to reach out and give everyone an opportunity to participate where they're comfortable. Etta, do I have another slide?
Nope.
Okay.
Hey, Dan, can I add one thing
Sure.
for new members, especially? But, you know, even if you don't live in the immediate Oxford area where our routes go, and we do have limitations in how far we can take those out and install those, we have plenty of opportunities for people to sponsor flags. Oxford Cemetery is one, Oxford Community Arts Center is another. There are available flags that people want to sponsor them that live outside of Oxford. The other thing is there are a lot of duties that you can do for your home if you can't get out. Certainly the data team that I'm involved with in the entries, it doesn't take too much training to be able to kind of help on those. That flood of 500 or 600 renewals comes in March and April to check the e-box or our email and start putting some of those in. So that's my plug.
Thanks, Bob.
So those were both great lead-ins to how can you, each and every Rotarian, get involved in our program. First and foremost, as Dan mentioned, we want 100% club participation with subscriptions. We're not far off. We only need 25% more. And so many of you honestly have more than one subscription. And thank you very much for that. It's very easy to renew. If you've renewed it, if you already have a subscription, you've probably renewed in the past. If not, please purchase a new one. We're running our early bird special, of course. It's $40 a subscription if you subscribe prior to the end of March. And we do offer a multi-flag discount of $10 for each flag if they're at the same address. So for some of you who do have multiple flags at one address, you have received that discount. 2 ways to subscribe or renew. You can go to our website very easily, or on our website, or also send out a subscription form. You can mail in a check or give it to Pat or Dan or one of our committee members, and we'll get you subscribed and renewed. So in addition to subscribing, you can very much volunteer to participate in our program. As Bob said, we have a position for everybody. If you want to sit at home and help us out on the comfy of your own couch in your PJs, we have a job for you. If you want to be physical and work in the warehouse, we have a job. So we have jobs for all physical, technology, all different levels. So here's a list of all our various like committee or coordinator tasks. We can do data entry, we can install sleeves, maintain sleeves, just schedule the 20 routes. Just schedule those folks and know what time they're coming to pick up and return their flags and toolboxes. Be a holiday troubleshooter. I've done it a couple times, and honestly, we don't really get that many calls. It's just you have to be available on that holiday. So you can volunteer in one of the committee positions, and I'll be sending out this help wanted little flyer here, and it basically gives you a description of each of the categories, jobs, as well as what's involved from a time commitment and really kind of what's involved from a physical aspect. But also volunteer on an installation or retrieval team. Now I know this isn't for everyone, and that's fine, but Rotary is responsible for 7 of the 20 routes. and which it does require a minimum of 2 people per route. So we need 28 volunteers per holiday. We all have some fabulous spouses and partners out there. So many of you, I've met so many of your partners and spouses through this because it's a great thing to do for a couple hours on a Saturday morning or a Tuesday night. You run around and do this and then go grab something to eat. So it doesn't have to be 2 Rotarians. It could be you and your child. It could be you and a spouse, or just you and a friend. But we do need 28 volunteers every holiday to make this work from the Rotary's aspect, just to cover our teams. So we are asking that everyone who is able to please try and volunteer a couple times throughout the subscription season so that we can get this accomplished. So just in closing, be on the lookout for the following items. We do have our Stars and Stripes holiday schedule set. I'll be sending that out, as well as a subscription form. And then the Stars and Stripes committee job description handout. So if you want to volunteer for the committee, we'll give you a good description. And then a volunteer sign up form, like we've done in the past, where you can go ahead and start signing up for the holidays. Given the uncertainty with the pandemic, we're going to go ahead and handle the, we're not going to have teams per se for the installation and retrieval. We're just going to ask all the Rotarians to volunteer to cover some of the holidays, because again, we'll want to keep 2 related or someone you're comfortable with delivering together. I'm not going to ask someone to get in a vehicle with someone that they're not comfortable with, given the pandemic. So be on the lookout for those items. And if you are interested in helping us on the committee, please reach out to myself or any of the committee members, and you'll see their names on the handout, and we'd be more than happy to sign you up and get you started. So with that, I'm going to open it up to questions.
Questions, anyone?
I have a quick question, if you don't mind. Your Rotary friends immediately to the west, Greater Harrison, has talked about maybe deploying a flag program similar to yours. Would you be open to them reaching out to you and just you sharing with them, if they decide to go forward, maybe how you went about the process and how you manage it?
Absolutely. I mean, I'll be honest with you, this wasn't our brainchild. We actually met with it wasn't a Rotary club, it was another organization up in the Dayton area, and they helped us significantly, and we would be more than happy to help someone else. We've learned a lot of lessons learned over the past handful of years.
I think a shout out to Susie Sadler. I think Susie was the one that brought that to our club, didn't you, Susie?
Mm-hmm.
It was the Optimist Club up in Centerville that we talked to. So Greg, if you live in that part of the world,